All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to the Enhanced Sports Show. My name is Lieutenant Orr, and I welcome all of you on this very dreary Saturday here in the New York, New Jersey area, as it's been for the past few days. Ugh. But we'll get through this together. Remember the number to call is 512-543-4662. Once again, 512-543-4662. Don't forget, you can check us out on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in theenhancedsportshow.com. And don't forget to like and share the page as well. All right, so we got. Oh, and of course, other shows. Brazil McGee, which comes up right after this program at 6 p.m., and Kevin Dixon from 7 to 9 p.m. on Mondays as well. And hopefully more to come in the near future. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. It's a big week in the sports world. And last week was a big one too. So I'm going to bring in everybody here. So I'll go to Steve Davidson first. Steve Davidson, are you there? We'll get to that. We'll get to that later, but I know what you mean. You can't. Mike, yes, happy Passover for those who celebrate, and happy Palm Sunday as well. Alex, uh, sure, and Diane should be along shortly within the next probably half hour. All right, well, I'll say this: all three games of the Final Four were spectacular. Starting of course with the first game, which was Florida beating Auburn 79-73. And But I think probably the biggest upset was Houston beating Duke 70-67 because Duke overall was the top favorite, even though all four number one seeds. But there was a lot riding on Duke, and of course, uh, the expectation of Cooper gag. I mean flag, which he did gag at the end of the game. But a lot were riding on it. Both uh, both games, both teams came down back from double digit leads. Florida came back down from a 14-point deficit against Auburn, which they're going to run away with it at the end of the first half because Florida just looked flat. And then Duke gave up a 12-point lead at the end of the half with about 5 minutes to go. Now, there's a problem with that. I got a problem with this. All right. Let's say you're up by a considerable margin, like about 10 to 12 points with 5 minutes to go. Look, a lot of people, a lot of players seem to think, "Oh, we got this game in the bag. We got to relax a little bit, and take this down slowly and whatnot. We got this game all wrapped up." Wrong. You do not ease up on the offense, even though you have a considerable lead with 5 minutes to go. Because the way I see it, 10 points with 5 minutes to go is not a big lead. It is not a big lead because one 3-pointer could turn the whole game around right there, and then you're within single digits with a considerable amount of time left. And again, and then you make all kinds of mistakes. You lose that momentum. You lose that momentum. I think Duke's problem was it just became so complacent within the last 5 minutes. Last 5 minutes, they lost the game. When you really think about it, because in cruise control, and then all of a sudden you just just hit a stun bug, you hit a couple of rocks, and that's what happened. I mean, there's not time to relax, even though you think you're up by a considerable margin. You cannot do that, no matter what he tells you. If it was up by 20, yeah, maybe I would relax a bit and whatnot. But down by 10 points with that much time left, no. I mean, the Duke had all the momentum going right up till 5 minutes ago in the second half, and then everything just collapsed completely. Talk about crashing into a wall. At least they certainly did. And flag, well, what can I say? Choke signal. That's all I can tell you. You know, he was supposed to be the star player of the game. Well, he did considerably well. I mean, he did score 27 points and whatnot, but that wasn't enough, to overcome Houston, which had to bow back from that 12-point lead at the half. I mean, actually, everybody was thinking the dude was going to run away with it. I know I did. But then in the end, Duke became, well, As the old saying goes, a victim of their own success. So Houston mounted that comeback game, and they as they played against Florida in the championship game, which was also good. Duke had a 14-point lead, I should say, 59-48 with under 8 minutes to go, and the Blue Devils look like they're cruising along to go their first title game in 10 years. Right? Wrong. LJ Cryer, who was the main factor in the Cougars staying in striking distance, sparked a 10-0 run and cut Duke's lead to 4 with 5 minutes left to go. See what I mean? Right there. Even as Duke found the rhythm, Houston never gave up. Emmanuel Sharp, that's with 1P, hit a three-pointer to make it a three-point game with under 32 seconds left. You know, that's when I think that's when you should try to slow it down. With that much time left, and try to get some foul shots in, and that's so because after that, Houston came up with the steal with a bucket with 20 seconds left. This game was getting very, very interesting, to say the least. The Cougars fouled Tyrese Proctor, uh, uh, and could not make the front end on the rebound. Cooper flag was called for an over the back foul to send Joan Roberts to the free throw line. He nailed both shots, and Flag missed a shot in the lane on the ensuing lane. A pair of free throws from Cryer, who finished with 26 points, secured the win when Proctor's three-point shot missed at the buzzer by about 2 inches. Ooh boy! The Cougars finished the final 80 seconds on an 11-1 run. Cooper, yeah, respectively, 27 points, despite the loss. But Houston went to the championship game for the first time since 1984, but lost to Florida. They've been in the finals 3 times, and they lost all 3 times. 83 to NC State. I think we all remember that one, don't we, guys? The dunk around the world. 84 losing to Georgetown with Patrick Ewing before he was number 33. And now this one. They've been to the Final Four 7 times. Well, it looks like I hate to sound like a cliche, but Houston, yeah, you got a problem. Oh boy. So getting back to the Duke game. Oh, where'd he go? Getting back to Duke for a while. Um, Alex, you can come back. Did Cooper choke? I mean, or did this happen? You know, the team just lost focus. What was it Cooper's fault? Let's put it this way: do you think it was Cooper's fault that Duke lost the game? Uh, Steve Davis, I'm going to start that with you. Was this all on Flag? I'm sorry about that, Steve. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you lost, pal. But I don't think you're the only one. I think a lot of people went with Duke, and I'm sure they placed their bets, and I'm sure they probably lost a lot too. But remember, there is no such thing as a sure bet. So you gotta put it that way. You have to look at it that way. That's true. Yes, yes. Steve K, thoughts on Duke's dismiss? Yes. Well, the Duke Blue Devils, of course. Yes. No. Yes. Yeah, yeah, but a lot were. Yeah, but the thing is that a lot were expected flagged. Go ahead. Oh, wait, right. Yeah, I know, but the thing is, a lot. Yeah, but the thing is, guys, that everybody expected Duke to win and Cooper to come up with the say like the winning shot or whatever. I mean, it was gonna be a close game, but a lot of people were on this. I mean, the draft was watching too because the draft's coming up, and a lot of people think. I mean, their thing is gonna be like the number one overall pick in the draft coming up. So is this gonna hurt his draft status? You don't think so? Hmm. Yeah, assuming he does. That's assuming, of course, he does enter the draft. Of course, I mean, a lot of people think he will. He probably will, although I think he does need one more year. But because they were looking at him as the top draft pick. But now after we saw Edwin getting hurt last month, and now having this happen, they're probably thinking, fellas, are we making a mistake here? Do you think maybe we should hold off on drafting him? Or like, that was just my theory together. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but that was my theory. Yeah, understandable. I'd like to welcome Diane to the show. I think it's Diane. It's Diane. Diane, any thoughts on Duke losing in that monumental game? Okay, well, it was a Monday night, so you probably didn't, but you've heard about Cooper Flag, of course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just think maybe I expected too much of him. You know, I thought he was going to try to be the hero. I thought it was going to be like, but of course, in that last minute, they were trying to avoid a foul to get fouled, and that would have been it right there. So yeah, they made the right call on that, but still, it cost them the championship. And I was hoping he was, gonna, dude was gonna pull it out. Oh boy. Yeah. Yes. Yes. No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Yes. Yeah. Mhm. Yes. No, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. All right. So speaking of that championship game performance, the Gators, of course, upset Houston 65-63, and I thought it was going to be a great game, except for maybe the beginning. The Gators wiped out a 12-point halftime lead to win 65-63, and but Houston said it was not supposed to end like this if it looked like this. If styles make fights, one would sure as the Cougars wanted tempo, complexion, and even atmosphere at the Alamo Dome, even though it's not really home court advantage, but it's close enough. Um, Domed all favored the team red and white, even as Houston's head coach Kevin Sampson admitted as much of the postgame. This was supposed to be the way the Cougars would have won, not the Gators. And yet, the clock hit zero on Monday night with Alex Condon stretched out on the floor and Walter Clayton Jr. leaping into the arms of Micah Hamilton. It was the Gators who celebrated because they did what no one else was able to do. Gators coach Todd Golden said it was going to be not going to be easy. Believe me, it wasn't going to be easy. But they did not panic when they fell behind. We got rewarded with the victory because of our toughness. And that's what you need. You need toughness to win. You need toughness. You need strength. And of course, not resting on your laurels, which was the mistake that Duke made in Houston. Um, Florida had struggles. Yeah, early on, because it didn't look so good, because Florida fouled 7 times in the first half, and they were looking a little sloppy. So that was another reason I think that Houston had the early advantage. Because I'm like, okay, this is out to a rocky start. How are you going to win by with committing you know, 7 turnovers early on? I know it was early in the game, but still, I mean, that's a mess, and that's kind of hard to shake off. And Clayton determines most valuable player did not score until 5 minutes into the second half, as the Gators fell down by as many as 12. The Gators led at 8-6 in the first half. They took a 64-63 lead with 64 seconds left to go, making it a battle. The Cougars did try to make one desperate attempt on that with that foul, but unfortunately just fell short. So go figure. I mean, you were falling down way behind. You were committing one mistake after another. But when you got the toughness and the strength to overcome that, that's how you win. That's how you win games, especially in that kind of atmosphere with the championship season on the line. That's how you win. You don't slack off. You don't get too complex later on, despite your lead. That's how you win, and that's how Houston and Duke lost. Am I right? Am I right? Thank you. Yes. Yes, of course. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, they did. Yes. And you blew it. And that shows it right there. Yes. Yes, of course. And the women's game, though, oh boy. It looked like it was going to be a much better game, but that game was right. For Duke, well, I wanted you mean in the Well, I was, of course, I guess I was caught up in it and hoping that Flag was going to win and make Duke was going to get it, but apparently not. So anyway, yeah, right. This was a letdown. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Now, what I was going to say was that now was yes, absolutely. But I was hoping it was going to be a much closer game. Yeah. Exactly. But I was thinking it was going to be a much closer game because, of course, you got South Carolina, which is the defending champions, and I was hoping it was going to be a much more competitive game. It was not, as almost from the word go, it wasn't, as UConn just destroyed South Carolina 82-59. And Paige, yeah, you got a championship, so congratulations on that. So she probably will be the number one pick in the WNBA draft and wrapping profound year at UConn and gave them their first title in 8 years. That's right, UConn women Huskies are back on top. So she also surpassed Maya Moore by setting up a bit of an attorney history. After the win over South Carolina, Beckers alone stands UConn's all-time top leading scorer in the tournament with 477 points, 1 point higher than Moore during her time at UConn from 2008 to 2011. Beckers finished with 17 points, putting her just ahead of Moore in school's all-time rankings. Third overall behind Shamika Holsclaw, 479, and the lovely Caitlin Clark with 491. Beckers ranked ahead of some of the game's all-time greats, former UConn Stars like Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, just to name a few. And we can't forget, of course, the WNBA is one of the WNBA's all-time favorites and one of UConn's all-time great players, Rebecca Lobo. Can't forget that. So during the tournament, Beckers led the Huskies with 149 points, averaging out to 24.8 per game, scoring 40 against Oklahoma and 31 against USC. But of course, had USC's top player not get injured, I think it might have been a different outcome, and UConn probably would have lost. So I'm not saying that was going to happen, but it could have happened that way because when you lose your star player, that can change the whole team around. It can change the whole game around. But I'm glad for UConn. They're back on top in the women's break. Well, 3 straight years that UConn some way has won a championship, either men's or women's. UConn is that good. Well, so congratulations on never. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. No. We sure did. All right, turning over now to the NBA because we're down to the last game of the season, of the regular season is well actually tomorrow. So we're gonna run down, um, yeah, all the in the Eastern Conference has been determined. So it's gonna run down like this. The Cavaliers are first, Boston is second, Knicks are third. I think they did clinch third because the Pacers lost last night, so I think they're gonna get the third seed. Pacers are fourth, the Yucks are fifth. The Bucks are Pistons are sixth and deserve, of course, all the because they the last 2 years they were down in the basement, but this year they've really stepped up. They won't get home advantage, but what a season they've had. And if he doesn't get Coach of the Year, there's something wrong here. And the play-in spots, Orlando will play um, Atlanta on Tuesday, and then the Bulls will play the Heat. The two winners will get the seventh, eighth seed when the when the first round of playoffs begin later in the week. I wish I had better news for the Nets and Sixers. They're out. Sorry, guys. The Nets are just that bad. Over to the West, where it's a much more competitive division. It's not all been determined yet. Well, the playing spots have. Yeah, Minnesota should be able to get the playing spot at 46-31. By the way, uh, am I crazy for thinking this that they fired their head coach even though they have a respected record of 46-33? And I don't know about you, but he did not deserve to get fired. I really don't. I mean, I think the Timberwolves coach. No, wait, I'm sorry, the Nuggets coach. Yeah, I mean, really, that is so stupid. Hey, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, while most of us were thinking, what happened here? But the Nuggets organization said that they saw this coming, though. While the rest of us were in shock, the Nuggets were not. So it's like, before this jaw dropping moment happened, there were multiple reports emerging detailing of a Cold War between Malone and General Manager Calvin Booth and how it was having a negative effect on players and the rest of the organization itself. I'll bet. Everyone in the organization was just miserable once on ESPN in a recently published article. That team president, John uh, Chronicle, called it a bad vibe. You can't operate a team like that. He just felt that if both Malone and Booth were removed, everyone else could focus on their job, and a change was needed. Yeah, if you were going like in the other direction, like say 32 and 46, but come on, you got 14 in the in the conference, you got home advantage, and you fired him for what? Just unbelievable, just ridiculous. I'm still mind numbing over it, Roger. Mm-hmm. I'll say. Yes, they did. No, of course not. Yeah. 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 So would I. Yes. Right. Yes, of course. Exactly. Right. After like if you lose in the first round of the playoffs, even so, but you don't fire him at the end of the season with a respectable record like that and getting home advantage in the playoffs. That was inexcusable. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you do that though. I don't know. That might not be so easy to do, but that was a foolish move on their part. Exactly. Just you know, yeah. Yes. All right. Well, the Lakers clinched the third spot in the West thanks to a blowout win over the Rockets. LeBron had 14 points and 8 rebounds in 22 minutes last night before sitting out the last 19-22 with an apparent injury. LeBron had been bothered by a groin injury, grimaced before he was pulled out in the third quarter, and had his left leg and hip area taped up. The Lakers, though, did not automatically report his ailment at that point, though. Austin Reeves was the high man for the Lakers, 23 points and 6 assists. And Dorian Finney-Smith scored 18 points with 6 3-pointers. Not bad. Roy Hachimura scored 16 points as the Lakers shot 60.9% from the field. Why don't you call it 61, okay? And made 19 of 37 from three-point range. Cam Whitmore was the high man for the Rockets with 34 points and 7 3-pointers. The Rockets did held out several players for the second straight game. Other high scorers were Reed Shepard with 14 points, Nate Williams with 12, and Aaron Holiday at 11. The Rockets, though, have already clinched number two, so no problem there. As they held out Dylan Brooks, with just rest. Tari Eastonson with a left leg injury. Alfred Segun, personal reasons. Jabari Smith with a groin injury. Yow. Eamon Thompson with rest. And Fred Van Fleet with an ankle injury. This team looks more like a train wreck right now than a number two seed heading into the playoffs. Let me tell you like that right now. Okay. Jalen Green scored 7 points in 15 minutes in the first half, while he sat out the second half, though. But Green is looking to play in all 82 games for the second straight season. Hey, half your players are going to play 60 games during the season. This is something. The Rockets shot 45.6% from the field, while taking a 56 lead. Whitmore scored 13 in the second half, but it was not enough as the Lakers just overpowered the Rockets, and they were, well, shall we say, grounded. So, I don't know. Houston kind of looked, I know they're second seed, but they're looking a little vulnerable, I think, with all the injuries and stuff. And with the playoffs looming, I don't know how you're going to get them all back in time. So, what's it look like for the Houston Rockets, guys? Do you think they're going to have a tough time in the first round, whoever they play, or are they going to be able to get past this? Anyone can answer. Yeah. Can anyone answer? Yeah. Mhm. They do. Mhm. Yes. Now, what about your Celtics, though, Steve? I mean, because they lost to the Magic the other night, and so is there any concern about that? I mean, the Celtics, of course, number two seed, and they're having their struggles lately too. So, how concerned are you about that? Hmm. Yeah, they do. Yeah. All right. Yes. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think so. Yes. Hmm. Right. Yes. All right. And of course, the Knicks clinched the third seed, like as I said um, last night, despite the fact they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I told you that was going to happen. We were watching the game last night. And you never count Cleveland out, even though if they're down like about 20 points and whatnot. The Knicks can't beat the top teams. I mean, they did lose to the Celtics by just 1 point, but I knew that Cleveland's not the number one seed for nothing, and I knew even at home with the Knicks, I knew Cleveland was going to fight back, and the Cowboys were going to win against the Knicks, and they did. I was not surprised with that at all. So just to give you a quick view on that, didn't surprise. Yes, yes, I know. Oh, absolutely. Yes. All right. Well, speaking of your Celtics, Jalen Brown received a pain-killing shot in his right knee as the franchise heads to the postseason. Brown has not played since March 2nd, as with enough games where he will not be eligible for any NBA awards or NBA all NBA consideration. NBA rules state that all players must play at least 65 games in order to qualify for the postseason honors. Brown is the defending MVP finalist. He averaged 22.2 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and shot 46.3% from the field. And are second in the Eastern Conference at 60 and 21. Only the Cavaliers have done better. I got news here from the G League. The Celtics might be getting star J.D. Davidson. The Celtics are converting Davidson's deal into a standard 2-year contract, according to ESPN, as Davis was also the G League's MVP this season. Smart move, of course. In 39 games for the main Celtics, that's Maine, not Main, Davis scored average 25 3 points per game with 7.6 assists while also collecting 5.3 rebounds. That's an improvement over last season when he had 20.8 points per game. Hey, nothing to sneeze at, though. Come on. Still, other notable winners of the G League MVP award are Raptors 905 Chris Bocher, Delaware Blue Colts forward Paul Reed, and Orlando Magic's Matt McClung. Yeah, somebody give him a real contract, though. Davidson joins the Celtics team that is the number 2 seed in the East and will face either the Hawks, Bulls, or Heat in the first round. Everything has yet to be determined later, of course. But everything will be determined by tomorrow. Speaking of being determined, um, going to hockey for a minute. Yes, the Devils have reached the playoffs, and we do know who they're going to play against. They're going to play against the Carolina Hurricanes, which are beating up on the Rangers right now. So it's safe to say that the Devils are in, and the Rangers are, well, out after a very disappointing season. So I have here some of the scenarios here. We don't really have the full matchups of all the playoff matchups, of course, yet. That'll be determined, I think, by about Wednesday, if not sooner. I hope. So right now we're going to run down the scenarios of who might get um, in today. So right now, Eastern Conference, who is in? I'll tell you that right now. Who's in the playoffs? The Capitals, the Hurricanes, the Devils, the Maple Leafs, the Lightning, the Panthers, and the Senators. That's in the East. In the West, the Jets, number one team in the league, the Stars, the Avalanche, the Golden Knights, the Kings, and the Edmonton Oilers. Yes, Connor McDavid will be back, of course. So who can clinch today? Okay, here's the scenarios right here. Listen carefully. The Montreal Canadiens will clinch a playoff berth if they beat the Maple Leafs in regulation. They can also clinch a win if they win overtime or a shootout. And the Blue Jackets don't beat the Capitals in regulation. Third option, they get 1 point and the Blue Jackets lose. The Wild can clinch a playoff berth if they beat the Canucks and the Blue Jackets lose to the Kraken in regulation. The Jets will clinch the Central Division title and the one seed in the Western Conference if they get at least 1 point versus the Blackhawks, or if the Stars don't beat Utah in regulation. Well, I think they're going to beat the Blackhawks anyway because we know how bad they've been this year. So I think it's a given. I think it's a given right there. The Golden Knights will clinch the Pacific Division title if they beat the Predators in regulation. They also clinch if they win overtime or a shootout, and the Kings don't beat the Avalanche in regulation. Third option, they get 1 point and the Kings lose. Fourth option, the refs do get out in overtime. No, no. Fourth option, the Kings lose in regulation. Yeah, that's a little joke, folks. All right, so we got a lot of interesting scenarios here. Any thoughts, guys? It's making me a little bit dizzy here. Absolutely. Yeah. Now here's just to give you a little example here. Here are the division leaders. Well, somewhat. The Metropolitan top three. Capitals 109 points. Duh, of course. Carolina Hurricanes 97 points. Probably going to be 99 by the game day is over. And the Devils have 89 points. Those are the top three in the Metropolitan Division. In the Atlantic Division, Maple Leafs have 100 points even. The Lightning, 98 points. And the Panthers, 96 points. Wildcard teams, the Senators and Montreal. I think we can roll with the Rangers. The Red Wings might have a slim chance to get in. The Islanders, forget it. Pens are gone. Sabres are gone. Oh, boy. And the Sabres have now tied the record for the most non-consecutive playoff seasons now at 14. Oh, what a shame. Hey, Hasek, they want you out of retirement. Yeah, I got news for you. Hey, Hasek, you're on out of retirement. You gotta help the Sabres. Oh, boy. All right, in the Western Conference, Central Division, the Jets. That's a no-brainer. 112 points. Yeah. Dallas Stars, 106 points, and the Avalanche, 100 points. All very well done. The West looks stronger. In the Pacific Division, the Knights have 105 points. The Kings have 99 points, and the Oilers 97 points. On the outside looking in, the Wild at 93 points, as well as the Blues. Maybe, but I think it's a little bit too late. Well, no, I think they'll have the wild card wrapped up. I should say. As for the ones who did not get in, probably. Well, we know the Blackhawks are not in, of course. Okay, look under Z. All right, your eliminations are as follows: Utah, Anaheim, Seattle, the Yahoos, aka the Predators, the Blackhawks, and the Sharks. Ugh, what a shock that is! The Sharks couldn't get a bite at all. So, and they went up as the worst team in the league. Well, bad enough, but they've been a disappointment for quite a while now. Ever since since they last won the cup in 2015, they have done nothing. Uh, yes, right. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Two? All right. Yeah, especially on reading, of course. So, as I was saying, the Sabres were eliminated again from postseason competition on Tuesday, making it the 14th straight year. The Sabres extended their playoff drought, which is the longest in NHL history, and tied the record for the longest playoff drought with, I hate to say it, the New York Jets. Like this, of course, North American sports. The Sabres set the record in 2022 season after missing the NHL record for the 11th straight season. We know what we are, said head coach Lindy Ruff. I'm disappointed where we are and can't do anything about it. But we can work on a game and we can still work on it until the season is over. Ruff is in his second stint with the Sabres. He was hired last May to replace Doug Gorianto. Ruff was the Sabres' last coach to make the postseason back in 2011, but was fired in 2013. The Sabres were eliminated in the postseason back on Tuesday when Montreal beat the Detroit Red Wings. And that's that. Yes. Yeah. That team has no luck whatsoever. When you really think about it, it's in limbo. Oh, you mean Pittsburgh? That's a joke. That's a joke. Yeah, 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 not at all. Yeah, yeah, yes. All right. Okay. Steve, you have any boxing UFC news? Okay, go. Yeah, yeah, Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Diane trivia. Okay, that's fine. Rocky. Rocky. 49-0. The original. I think it was 39. Well, actually, Diane, it's a technicality because back in the caveman days, they had the heavyweight fighters, they had the clubs out, and they were going at each other. But it was a big it was a big massacre. I mean, all the dinosaurs getting in the way, everything was just terrible. So while this was the first in modern times, it wasn't the first overall. Sorry. Yep. Yes, and of course there were only fewer than 100 television sets at the time, so very people saw it. Well, but don't forget, television was just beginning back then too. So yeah. Yes, yeah, 46, 47 to be exact. You're right. Okay, so all right, Steve, your moment is here as the Big O himself scored 895 against the Islanders on Sunday and surpassed Wayne Gretzky in the process. And what a moment that was! I saw it myself. What a moment! So the Great One was in attendance at the UBS Arena when the record was broken, and he said back on the Friday before that he was proud when he tied the record by scoring 2 goals in the previous game. I never seen that. After Obi broke the record, which was one Gretzky was one of several to congratulate him. Then Obi gave a brief speech during the ceremony. He entered the game. He entered the season with 853 goals and started red hot, scoring 15 goals in the first 18 games of the season. Then suffered broken fibula in November and missed 5 weeks. Now that's when I thought, well, okay, he's injured. I don't know if he's going to break it this year because he's going to be. I think he's going to be kind of slow to get back. So I was thinking, well, it's going to be probably next year. Boy, was I so wrong about that because he came back in a fist of fury. Um, was he that? Not at all. He scored 4 goals in his first 5 games back, so you knew something was coming when you score that kind of pace after being out for over a month. In the beginning of January, he won another scoring streak, scoring 7 goals in 7 games and his 33rd career hat trick. Then you know he's on fire. In addition to that, he also scored 30 goals in 19 with 20 seasons when he scored his 33rd goal of the season last month. That gave him 1,600 points of his career, joining some big names here, guys. Gretzky, Gordie Howe, Steve Yzerman, Mario Lemieux, and Sidney Crosby, and Joe Sakic. All have won titles. Wow. You've never heard of Joe Sakic for the Colorado Avalanche? Wow. The Gas Man from the Red Wings? Wow. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. Yeah. No, no. But let me ask you something, guys. Mhm. So am I, but still. I got two quick questions. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right. Well, okay. I got two questions here. One, is he going to make 900 goals before the season? Yeah. No. Okay, but here's my thing. Right. Okay, here's my question though. Okay, well here's the thing. Where does Ovechkin outrank Gretzky? Because remember, although he has the goal scoring record, oh, no, never. Okay, because remember, right? No, because remember, Gretzky still leads. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. So, because remember, Gretzky still leads all time in points and assists. And he also has a record that I don't think will ever be broken, scoring 92 goals in a season. That record may never be broken. Never. All right. So I came across something here. Um, the World Cup in baseball is going to be happening next year, and I came across the group players, group teams in each pool. So here we go. Pool A: Puerto Rico, Cuba, Canada, Panama, or you know what, and Colombia. All right. Pool B: the U.S., Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil. Pool C: Japan, Australia, Korea, Chechnya, and the Chinese Taipei. Pool D: Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Netherlands, Israel, and Nicaragua. All right. Okay. And quarterfinals: Pool A against Pool B, and so forth. And then the semifinals will be against the quarterfinal winners. And of course, the semifinals, two semifinals will be in the championship games in March of 2026. So, who do you like in each group, guys? Who do you like first in Pool B in Pool A? No response. Steve, let's pool. We're going by. I'm talking Pool A first. We're in Pool B. What do you got in Pool A? Puerto Rico. Alex? Diane? I'm going to go Cuba. All right. U.S. Okay, Pool B, U.S. We all in agreement on that one? All right. Pool C, Japan, Australia, Korea, Chechnya, and the Chinese team. Steve, what do you got here? Japan? Yeah. All right, Alex. Diane. I'm going to go Korea. All right. And Pool D, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, which went through a terrible ordeal this past week. Thoughts and prayers. Uh, Netherlands, Israel, and Nicaragua. Who you got in Pool D, guys? Alex? Alex? In Pool D, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Netherlands, Israel, or Nicaragua. I'm gonna go Dominican Republic. Okay, and of course this. Yes, it is. It is. Now, speaking of baseball, I was reading something in a post this past week. Major League Baseball is looking to extend by two teams by 2028. Of course, thank you very much, Mr. Rob Manfred, for bringing that up. So that would bring the total to 32 teams, and they were making a list of cities of where they want to be. Some would say like Orlando, Montreal, which would make sense since they had a team there, and the fans liked the preseason, the exhibition game they played there a while back. So I gotta give them that. Or in some other areas, like I think San Antonio or in some of the other southern states, where do you think that two teams, if you had to make a choice, where do you think they should be? Steve, I'll start that with you. Where would you like to see two teams being placed in 2028? Speak up, Steve. I can't hear you. No answer? All right. Roger, where would you like to see it? That was another option, Nashville, Tennessee. One was thinking North Carolina. Some were thinking West. How about you, Diane? Right. Oh, I'm thinking Montreal. I'm thinking Vegas because Vegas is a happening town now. Of course, they got the Raiders. They got the Golden Knights. They want to get a basketball team in there at some point. Thank you, LeBron. So I'm thinking, maybe Vegas. That is becoming a happening place. Of course, nothing is official, of course, but something is expected, I think, within the next year or so. Providing, of course, that they can get through the collective bargaining disagreement, which is underway now and expires at the end of December 2026. So we may have to wait on that because December 26th, because by the 2027 season, it could get nasty, if you know what I mean. I mean, they're looking, I think revenue sharing and some other issues here. So be prepared. It could be big trouble in 2027 for Major League Baseball. Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, there is something wrong in Denmark, so but that's another story. Okay. All right. Yes. Stephen Stern was America's first silver ever will. Yes, of course. All right, turning to the Masters right now. Roy McIlroy is has a slight lead right now. He shot a 66 in round two. Some players have finished round three, but it's not all completed. Corey Connors of Canada is at second place. Brian DeChambeau is in third. Hey, where's Brooks? Oh, never mind. Uh, Sweden's Ludwig Aberg is in fourth. Jason Day is fifth, and Shane Lowry is sixth. Justin Rose is seventh, and Patrick Reed is eighth, and Matt McCarthy is well, it's a log jam tie for eighth among four players. So looks like a tight race, but I think in the end, I think it's going to be between the top three between McIlroy, Connors, and DeChambeau. As for Brooks Koepka, forget it. Yeah, I'm going with McIlroy. We still got about a round and a half to go. This is the third round, the first major of the year, the first official major of the year, unless you want to count the Players Championship and the Memorial. Yeah, golf's fifth and sixth majors. But big controversy over the week concerning the Masters. I don't know if you've read about this, but there is a player that is making his first return in quite some time, but he's also started a lot of controversy as well. I'll explain. And then I'll get into some baseball after that. All right, let's see here. Oh, where is that story? Okay, Angel Cabrera may has returned to serving a 3-year sentence for domestic abuse. His shot at making the cut yesterday came to an end as he did not make the cut. He was in prison for threats and harassment from two ex-girlfriends. Opened the tournament with a 3 over at 75 par, and then finished 8 over par 80 yesterday, and finished 11 over par for the week. So he was out there right there. Cabrera finished near the bottom of the 95 player field for his 21st Masters start. He was given a lifetime exemption of the Masters tournament in 2009 with a win over Kenny Perry and Chad Campbell in a 3-8 playoff. I think I remember that. He missed the cut at his last match in 2019, then missed 20 and 21 for obvious reasons, then missed 2022 as a result of visa issues. But the two-time Masters champion came to the tournament in full swing as he won last week's Champions Tour event that put him in the winner's circle after being released from prison. But controversy erupted, including rights from some women's groups. But Augusta National Chairman Fred Riley defended the club's decision during his pre-tournament news conference. While we don't condone domestic violence of any type, Ridley told reporters as it relates to Angel, he served his sentence and was handed down by the Argentinian courts and is a former champion, so that's why he was invited. So you got a convicted felon on this guy. That's yeah, right. Let's no. There's no excuse for that. I mean, he did wrong, but still, there was no excuse for what he did. But he's a former champion, and let him in. No, it is ludicrous and dumb. All right. Yes. All right. So turning. Oh, we got more than that. So I'll just continue. All right. The Atlanta Braves are up to a horrible start now at 2-10. Could get some much needed help soon. We hope. Former All Star Spencer Strider made a rehab start at Triple A Gwinnett and was superb in his first performance. He threw 90 pitches, over 5 innings, striking out 13 of 20 batters he faced and walked 2 batters. It is possible that could have been his only warm start ahead of his season debut for the Braves, who are desperate for a win at this point. Because at 2-10 right now, even though it's only the middle of April, if they don't climb out of this hole soon, I think it's going to be a very long season for the Braves. I mean, this is not the only Braves that I know doing this bad. They can't be doing this bad. Come on. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, just not feeling it this year. 2-10 right now. I mean, you're lucky it's a long season of 162 games because if you only play if the season was over today, they would not be in it. I mean, this is not the Braves that I know. Ugh, exactly. Yeah, that's true too. That's true. No, when you have injuries like that, yeah, probably right. All right. The Red Sox placed catcher Connor Wong in the 10-day injured list with a fractured finger. With the Red Sox expecting to be out for a while, the Red Sox may have moved to shore up position. According to Fanside, the Red Sox have agreed to a minor league deal with two-time All-Star catcher Yasmiel Grandal. Grandal spent last season with the Pirates, playing 72 games with 9 home runs and 27 RBIs. This will be his sixth team that he's played for since debuting in the majors in 2012. He's played with the Padres, but he also spent time with the Dodgers, Brewers, and the White Sox, which are also bad this year, of course. Uh, it's a tie. Grandal is a pro of 13 seasons, made the All Star team in 2019 with the Brewers, and had 77 RBIs. With Wong on the injured list, the Red Sox are now down to just two catchers on the roster, namely Carlos Navarez and Blake Sobel. Okay. Not good, not good. All right. Oh, speaking of the Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. will have his injured left knee reevaluated next week as he makes his way back to the lineup after undergoing ACL surgery. Ugh. He tore his ACL last May and had surgery on June 6th. Is traveling to Los Angeles, or has done so already, to get checked up, said by manager Brian Skinner, said on Tuesday. Acuna's taking batting practice, but has not been cleared to do any running or cutting at this point. Yet. I do say yet. The slugger has not been out of the batter's box since his work during his workouts. Acuna was injured after 49 games last season, and a 250 with 4 home runs just a year after winning the NL MVP when he hit 41 home runs and 73 RBIs and batting a respectable 337. So far, the Braves are actually 3-10, but still last in the NL East. And the Phillies and Mets are neck and neck. How do you like that? I know. Yes. And it's only April. Yeah, they are. So the Cubs acquired reliever Tom Cosgrove from the Padres on Thursday for cash considerations and was sent to AAA Iowa. Cosgrove is 1-0 with a miserable ERA though, 7.36 in 4 appearances for El Paso, results in AAA. He's 1-3 with one save and with a 3.95 ERA in 72 appearances. In 18 games for the Padres last season, he went 0-1 with a horrendous ERA of 11.66. Ugh, how do you stay in the league with that? He pitched 54 games in 2023 and had a more decent ERA of 1.75. 11.6 ERA? How can you be in the major with that kind of ERA? Oh, boy. Ship that guy down to the minors already, please. That's, I understand that. That's ugly. Yeah. All right. The Broncos signed free agent safety Sam Franklin Jr. on Friday. Franklin played 5 seasons with the Panthers after going undrafted in 2020. Last season, he registered 8 tackles in 10 games, but missed 7 games with a broken foot. So that was the end of that. Franklin has 105 career tackles with 1 sack and 1 interception. That was a 99-yard pick six, and he played in 74 games with 9 starts. Tight end Mo Alie-Cox has re-signed with the Colts. Terms of the deal were not disclosed, but rumors has it that it's for 1 year. He has 12 catches for 147 yards with 1 touchdown, 17 games with 13 starts, while mostly playing in a blocking role. A converted basketball player, Alie-Cox has 114 receptions for 1,433 yards and 15 touchdowns in 108 games with 47 starts since he joined the Colts as an undrafted free agent back in 2017. Mm-hmm. Hey, while we're on to something here, why don't we get some UFL action done before we forget? All right, so last night we had a pitcher's duel here as far as football went. As Birmingham beat Arlington 10-9, I took Birmingham. Steve, who did you take? Alex, Roger, UFL. This was Arlington and Birmingham. All right, Diane, who did you have? I had that. Okay, Houston, Houston and Memphis played earlier. I think the game was over. I was taking Houston on this one. So, Steve, who'd you have here? Alex, of course. Roger and Diane. I was gonna take Memphis. One. All right. Tomorrow, San Antonio, Michigan. Steve, Diane, Roger, Alex. Yeah, I think I'll take that too. All right. DC, St. Louis. Steve, like I had to guess. Right, right. Alex, Diane. I'm gonna go with DC. Okay. Yeah, I didn't get the score in time, so forgive me on that one. Yeah, I thought the game was over, but I didn't get a chance to get the score in. So, just forgive me on that one. All right. Yeah. And Jalen Brunson's back with the Knicks, but unfortunately, that came out to be a disaster. All right. Yeah, I know I got some moments here because I'm looking for something that's from a really um, stupid incident that happened. Yeah. Oh, and congratulations on the Celtics for making the most 3 pointers in a season. Like, yeah. All right. John Morant was ruled out of last Saturday's game due to an illness. The Grizzlies announced. Morant, who had a busy week due to multiple gun celebrations that earned him a warning, a subsequent fine from the NBA, is only playing 47 games this season for the Grizzlies. He's averaging 22.9 points, 7.3 assists, and 4.2 rebounds. His availability becomes an issue for the Grizzlies, who will need him to step up, of course. And of course, these people doing these gestures, no, there's no excuse for that. You really had to, think about that. Doing all these ridiculous things here. And Jim Nance was emotional when Houston went to the final. Nance graduated from University of Houston in 1981. He played golf there. Now, 4 decades later, he got to watch one of the greatest games in school history without the added pressure of being somewhat neutral. Instead, he let his emotions flow. And Nance officially retired from calling games in the 2022-23 season. When he arrived for the broadcast, he was greeted by his former colleague Charles Barkley. But he is calling the Masters this weekend. Mm, nice to have him back. Right? Yeah, I mean, Nance, he's no Brett Musburger, but I have respect for him though. Yeah. Oh, I got more Masters news here. Vijay Singh, who won the tournament 25 years ago, withdrew this week due to an undisclosed injury. The Augusta National Golf Club said Singh informed the competition committee about his condition, and that will be his 32nd Masters start. And he is now 61 years old. Last year, he made the cut and was tied for 58th, 14th over par. Not bad for a guy of 62. How do you like that? Uh-huh. Hey, Steve, have you seen Dana lately, though? Whatever happened to her? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's how we like to have her back. Yeah. Oh, here's a big scary moment, Steve. A scary moment occurred Tuesday's game between the Grizzlies and Hornets as Jalen Wells took a hard fall and had to be carried off a stretcher after a hard fall. Wells, yeah, Wells was about to crash in on a breakaway dunk with just 1 minute left in the first half at the Spectrum Center when Hornets center J.K. Simpson undercut him when he was in the air. Wells hit the floor hard and did not get up right away. His Grizzly teammates rushed in to check on him. The crowd went silent at the arena. The stretcher made his way onto the court, and the Grizzlies medical team and emergency service attended to Wells. Some members of the Hornets were seen praying, and coaches at home huddled in a circle as praying as well. Well, yeah. Wells had been taken off the arena by stretcher and was transported to a nearby hospital. The play was ruled as a flagrant two foul. Say what? Where's everybody going? and was called unaccepted, resulting in being ejected from the game. A second round pick in 2024 out of Washington State, Wells had been the most productive rookies in the league. He is averaging 10.5 points per game. Oh man, that is just awful. Uh, yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't see it live, but yes, yeah, yes. Okay, more news. Dwight Howard will be heading to the Basketball Hall of Fame, but his playing days are not exactly done just yet. Howard will play in the Big Three this summer. The Los Angeles Riot, that according to NBA reporter insider Chris Hayes. The Los Angeles Riot, okay. Per the report, the Riot will be coached by longtime guard Nick Young, who spent time with Howard with the Lakers. The Big Three heads into its eighth season this summer, and teams will be put in actual location this year rather than just one big area. So it'll be in LA, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, Houston, Miami, and Washington. They'll be playing in their home cities for the first time. And New York, nada. Thanks a lot. Okay, well, here's item number one for Idiot of the Week. Now, there are a handful of rules you must follow at the Augusta National Golf Club, no matter who or what you are. Matt Thurman, a golf coach at ASU, found out the hard way. Ready for this? Oh, you'll love it. Attending this year's Masters with star pupil Josie Balster, a two-time All-American at ASU, Thurman was on the practice range speaking with Sun Devils alum Kevin Yu when he was tapped by an Augusta Nationals official. His crime, ready for this? Wearing shorts. It may sound ridiculous, but it's a rule, folks. It's a rule. The strict dress code resulted in Thurman getting kicked off the grounds. He admitted the mistake in a social media post. Strolling through the Augusta range on Wednesday, with his coaching badge, Thurman wrote on website X, I got removed from the course for wearing shorts. The first bogey of the week. I'm sure more to come. Thurman took responsibility for the mistake. Lucky for him, he packed some extra pants in his suitcase. What a dope. Luckily, though, he is back on the court. He is back on the course, though. I told you it was ridiculous. Yes. Right. Yes. Well, actually, was going to Guns N' Roses concert after that. Yeah. Well, I know. It does sound ridiculous, but I had to throw it in. And then he said I was going to Paradise City. Yeah, it is. And no surprise, Houston clinched number two in the Western Conference seedings. What a shock! And the Rockets, even if the Rockets lost, they went 0-3, we have less than 30 losses. So mathematically, Houston is number two in the West. Okay, John Morant continues to test his patience with the league officials. 2 days after he's fined $75,000 for his gun figure gesture, Morant debuted a new celebration on Tuesday and caught attention yet again from the league. During Monday's win over the Hornets, Morant mimicked throwing a grenade into the crowd after hitting a three-pointer. Brother, after making the shot, wait, it gets even worse. After the shot, he mimicked throwing the grenade pin, throwing the grenade's pin, uh, threw the grenade into the crowd and covered his ears during the mock explosion. Dope. What a, if, yeah, but he's not got these annex though. No, he is he is nuts. It is. It's still wrong, buddy. It's still wrong. Yeah, they gotta get rid of him. Yeah, exactly. Stupid. Yeah, some people never learn their lesson. That's the whole problem, though. Just stupid. All right, so I don't have anything more stupid than that. But let's see if I have anything here. Okay. Yeah, you should. Yeah, right. Yeah, so he's not really a superhero, is he? He is sending a negative message. No, exactly. Five, five. Yes, exactly. Okay, so Drew Lock is returning for the second go around as a backup quarterback for the Seahawks. That according to multiple outlets on Friday. Locke is expected to sign a 2-year, $5 million deal after playing last season with the Giants and did nothing. Last season, Locke played 8 games for the Giants. He was 1-4 as a starter and had 1,071 passing yards, 6 touchdown passes, and 5 interceptions. He also rushed for 2 scores. In 5 seasons between the Broncos, Seahawks, and the Giants, Locke is 10-18 as a starter, completing 59.6% of his passes for 6,354 yards with 34 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. He also rushed for 7 scores. Locke was a second round pick in 2019 and came to the Seahawks in 2022 in a trade that sent Russell Wilson to the Broncos. And they say he can't go home again. Guess again. Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's see if we got anything more here to come. All right, Seattle Mariners infielder Ryan Bliss was diagnosed with a torn bicep and will undergo surgery. Actually, he did go into surgery this past week. The Mariners say that recovery time is 4 to 6 months, meaning, yes, he may miss the rest of the season and probably will. He suffered the injury when he took a swing at Framber Valdez in the second inning and lost to the Astros on Tuesday. He stayed in the game but finished 1 for 5 at the plate. Maybe he should have stayed out of the game, buddy. An MRI confirmed the tear. Bliss will undergo surgery at the University of Washington Medical Center in Seattle. Bliss made 11 starts at second base for the Mariners to start the season after making his debut last May. He batted .214 with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs in 44 games, including 1 home run and 3 RBIs this season. And they say ignorance is bliss. Okay, all right. You gotta feel sorry though. I mean, you know, trying to have a season and he gets injured like that now, he could be out for the rest of the year. Yeah, yeah. All right. The Colts released kicker Matt Gay after 2 seasons. The decision to release Gay comes as a surprise around the league, as is two, as he still has 2 years and 22 years left on his deal. When the deal was signed in 2023, Gay was the highest paid kicker in the league. Now he ranks fourth. During last season, Gay made 31 of 37 field goals attempts. The 6 field goals missed were from 50 yards plus, which might have forced into the Colts' decision to his release. He did, however, make all 33 of his extra point attempts. All right, so maybe you shouldn't have got rid of him so quickly. Gay started his career with the Bucks, played for 1 season, producing his lowest numbers of his career, only making 77% of his field goals, and missed 5 extra points. He then spent 3 seasons with the Rams and was on the Super Bowl 2021 team before heading to the Colts. By the way, his uncle's name was Ben Gay. So, okay. And before you know it, it'll be before your training camp. I would think about, oh, where are we now? I would think, yeah, about 90 days until they report. Yeah, absolutely. I am. Right. Yes. All right. Good news if you're a fan of Freddie Freeman. Dave Roberts said on Wednesday that he expects the first baseman to return in time for next week's season against the Cubs. Freeman took live batting practice over the past few days, and he was placed on the injured list and was retroactive March 31st after slipping in the shower in his home. Okay. Just looking at him run recently, I would say he's better when the season started. I know he did some lateral work, but that's probably a question for Freddie. Freeman is 3 for 12 this season with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs in 3 games this season. He missed the opening series in Tokyo against the Cubs with rib discomfort, then sat out last weekend's series against the Braves before heading to the injured list. He sprained his ankle in September. Then he struggled in his first 2 playoff games before earning World Series honors by hitting 4 home runs in 5 games against my New York Yankees. Thank you very much. Blech. Disgusting. Disgusting. I would root for him if he wasn't playing against the Yankees. I'll put it to you that way. Yeah, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. Right. He underwent surgery in December to remove a loose body in the ankle. Or as I look at it, it's not a body experience. Okay. All right. Now, for another ridiculous but humorous story of the week, you're going to love this. Okay. If you think your team is bad, well, wait to hear this, guys. Two of college baseball's worst teams took the diamond last week on Tuesday with a combined 141 losses in a row. I kid you not. The losing streak came to an end for both teams. Lehman College and Yeshua University split a doubleheader, ending the most ridiculous losing streaks in baseball that I've ever seen. And these are Division III schools, which is probably why nobody's really ever heard of them. In the opening game, Lehman defeated Yeshiva rather, 7-6 in extras. A modern Orthodox Jewish school in New York ended a 100-game losing streak before Lehman in Game 2 won. Lehman is located in the Bronx near Yankee Stadium. Yet Shiva celebrated on the field at Fairleigh Dickinson University, or as I say, Fairly Ridiculous, where they play their home games right here in the Garden State of New Jersey, and only about 20 minutes from my house. Oh boy, yes, Yeshiva. So Yeshiva. Now the Shiva. Yeah, I know. So Yeshiva last won a game on February 27th, 2022, in a doubleheader sweep over John Jay College. Lehman last won on May 9th, 2023, against Brook College 7-4. Man, is that awful or what? You haven't won a game in 2 and 3 years, and you play against a team who's just as bad as you are. Oh, terrible. Talk about the bad news bears. Yeah, but still, okay, I've seen teams that lose, like, like had bad season stuff, but not winning a game for 3 years. Yeah, but it was 100 games, man. Come on. Yeah, ugh, just yeah, but that's a comic tragedy to say the least. All right, guys, we're running a little bit of time, so I got about 2 minutes to go. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I know this was one of those weeks where I kind of expected a low turnout. I expect, but people are going out for Passover and everything, and I wish everybody a happy Passover. And of course, next week at Easter, which will be next weekend. Yeah, I will do a show next Saturday, so I hope you guys can tune in, even though Easter is the next day. So I'll also put in some Easter wishes. Oh, Roger, you have any Passover wishes you want to mention before we go? Hey, Steve, you celebrate Passover, right? No, I'm sorry, I meant Steve. Steve? All right. Yeah. So next week we'll do Easter wishes as well. Yes, to Diane, happy Passover, and to her parents as well. Jimmy, I know he's celebrating right now, getting to celebrate. Mike went home for Passover, but wishing him Passover too. Yes. So next week we'll go. Well, yeah. I know. That's why I asked. All right. So next week we'll cover the first round of the playoffs, baseball and basketball and hockey. We'll recap the Masters tournament and the college hockey tournament. I'm going to go with Western Michigan. So we'll get that way. All right. So stand by for Rasal, and I'm out of here. So have a good week.